For OS X, there's two pretty good utilities for finding out where your disk space has gone if you want to free stuff up. Now, in my experience, Disk Inventory X is actually, it does a much better job than DaisyDisk at being able to narrow down where a large file is. I'll set up a scan. DaisyDisk is a much nicer interface and it looks pretty, but I can assure you that if you try to find a file with it, if I'm looking at this drive, it's not actually a very useful structure for me to try and figure out where a large file is or where my disk space has gone. I can find large folders and it splits up those folders as we go down, but it still takes quite a bit of investigation, whereas here, with this kind of view, it's really quick. I mean, you can see quite quickly there, boom, that's a massive file. And what's useful here is that we can see structure. So, for example, if I can see all of these file patterns around here, these size patterns, I know that they're all connected, and I can see here that this is my sample library. Likewise here we can see all these MP3s, so that's all music. What have we got here? We've got email. So I can actually look at an image of my drive and you can see that this is much more superior than DaisyDisk, and it is free. Unfortunately, it's got a few bugs. I'm sure if the developer was supported, he'd be able to improve some of this stuff when I, for example, do a resize. I'll show that later. It can have problems rendering on the latest versions of OS X. But overall, you can see that you get a really quick overview at how big some of these chunks are and what the file types are. You know, I don't really care about the folder structure. I don't really care what folders my data's in. What I care about is the type of data. And if I can see that, you know, all of this music takes up a big chunk here, and all of these sample libraries take up a big chunk here, and I've got a VMware image here, you know, I can start to make some decisions really quickly about whether or not I can afford to remove something from my drive. Here, doing the same thing is it's not as easy. I can see that yes, there's a music folder there, but it's based on a folder. So if I had other stuff in a different tree, this wouldn't pick up on that. Got a Dropbox. I actually have to move through all of these layers to be able to get a fair idea of what's on my drive, and then have a think about it later. It's not as easy for me to decide, you know, what I can move out with this kind of format. I really love the design of DaisyDisk. Like, I think it's really schmick, and it's got you know, it scans really quickly. It scans a lot faster than Disk Inventory X. But I think it would be great if they considered providing this as an alternate view. Some users might like this, but it would be awesome to see this as an alternate view, just as a suggestion.